Its cab was designed to withstand a direct hit from a solid steel hammer. Its design was drawn by the same person who created elite Maserati sports cars, and all the engineering genius behind its construction was built by the Swedes on the principles of a Lego set. This isn't just a truck, it's the Scania Series 2, a legend that made its competitors eat dust and forever cemented the brand's status as the king of the road. Today, we'll find out how, in the midst of a global crisis, the Swedes went all in, creating a truck where raw mechanics and digital magic merged perfectly for the first time. Start your engines. To understand the phenomenon of this machine, we need to go back to the 1970s. For the Swedish company Scania, this was truly a breakthrough era. Thanks to the success of its first series, the company from Sortalia made a powerful entrance onto the global market. In 1976, Scania opened one of its largest overseas branches in Argentina. Later, factories appeared in Morocco, Tanzania, Iraq, the USA, Peru, and Australia. Production volumes grew rapidly. The once modest car company from Sweden had turned into one of the world's leaders. But as we know, it's much easier to reach the top than to stay there. Expanding geographically brought huge challenges. Logistics costs were rising rapidly, and it was necessary to quickly adapt to local markets. For example, in South America, there was a demand for extra heavy dump trucks for the mining industry and off-road conditions. In Australia, uncompromising tractors were needed for road trains, while Europe required compact, maneuverable cab-over trucks for cities and construction sites. How could these radically different demands be met without going bankrupt developing separate vehicles? The company's future depended on solving this dilemma. After all, the higher you climb, the stronger the winds of competition blow, and these winds were truly harsh. The new Scania Series was about to enter a market where fierce competitors were already fighting tooth and nail for every customer. Fellow Swedes with their successful Volvo F10 and F12 lines, the relentless German Mercedes-Benz NG, and the tough Dutch DAF 3300. Taking the lead under such conditions was a real challenge. For success, the new trucks had to be as unified, efficient, and economical as possible. And here, Scania's engineers made a brilliant move. They turned their attention to the experience of the Danish toy manufacturer Lego. This brand became famous thanks to its construction sets made from standard plastic modules. You can build anything out of identical blocks. Scania decided to do the same thing with real trucks. Armed with the concept of modularity, work in the research labs kicked into high gear. They started with the cabs. They were made up of separate standard panels. By combining them in the right way, it became possible to produce different types of cabs on a single assembly line, low, medium, high, with sleeper compartments, and even long-nose hooded ones. Once the optimal options were selected, the finished cabs were sent to the wind tunnel. There, they were blasted with air to minimize wind resistance. Next, brute force came into play. The cabs were mercilessly tested for strength with heavy pendulum hammers, simulating severe side impacts. Such crash tests are part of Swedish safety standards, the strictest in the world. It's these standards that allow the Swedes to make the most protected vehicles. The modular approach was extended to the chassis frames, engines, transmissions, and electrical systems. These build-your-own trucks used up to 70% shared parts, regardless of the model. This radically reduced production costs and sped up the assembly of each vehicle by 30%. But pragmatism is boring. For wild success, they needed some outward passion and appeal. To give the truck some flair, the Swedes hired leading Italian industrial designer Giorgetto Giugiaro, the same guy who designed sports cars for Lotus, BMW, and Maserati. While keeping the recognizable features, Giugiaro gave the utilitarian, boxy cabs softer, more rounded lines. The signature Y grille remained on the front panel, accentuated by an integrated bumper. To improve aerodynamics, the windshield was tilted by 20%, and deflectors and sun visors were added. The cabin became much more spacious and focused on ergonomics. Inside, there was luxurious velour, either brown or blue, and plastic built to last for decades. The driver enjoyed a soft seat on air suspension with a ton of adjustments. The rectangular dashboard wrapped around the driver just like in an airplane cockpit. A smaller engine tunnel added more space, and the soundproofing let you have whispered conversations. The Series 2 made its debut in 1980. The firstborn was the heavy-hooded model T142, where 14 stands for the engine's displacement in liters, 2 means the second series, and T for torpedo indicates the hooded version. It was equipped with the most powerful V8 in the lineup, delivering 394 horsepower. Plastic hooded trucks were selling like hotcakes in South America, Africa, Australia, and Sweden. The heaviest E versions, meaning extra heavy, slogged through mud at logging sites and hauled ore from quarries. Later on, cab-over models 82, 112, and 142 appeared with a gross weight ranging from 16.5 to 32 tons, and as part of a road train up to 100 tons. The inline-six engines produced between 230 and 360 horsepower, and with the introduction of intercoolers in 1983, they gained another 10% in power. The absolute pinnacle of this evolution was the cab-over R142H tractor unit. Its tuned V8 delivered a stunning 460 horsepower. For long-haul truckers, the V8 from Scania isn't just a piece of metal, it's a religion. The deep, vibrating bass of its exhaust rumbles right down to your bones. Thanks to this power, Scania truly became the king of the highways. All of this was built on ultra-strong ladder frames. Depending on the conditions, the chassis were divided into 3 strength classes: M, medium for medium duty, H, heavy for heavy duty, and E, extra heavy for extreme heavy duty applications. Cabs were also chosen based on the job: the low G for the city, the mid-size P for regional routes, and the luxurious Flemish R with sleeper berths for long-haul drivers. The Series 2 was an absolute triumph. Up to 95% of these trucks were exported. For countries with terrible roads, they became the ideal, toughest tanks and utterly reliable. Millions of kilometers without a major overhaul became the norm. What's more, in 1988, Scania took a step into the future. It was one of the first to use automated mechanical transmissions, CAG, where a microprocessor selected the gear itself and the driver only had to press the clutch. Electronic fuel injection appeared along with an accelerator pedal that no longer used a mechanical cable. In essence, the Scania Series 2 trucks became a unique bridge between eras. This was the place where good old timeless mechanics first met digital technology. A perfect synergy where the computer didn't replace the hardware but instead unlocked all of its monstrous potential. By the way, if you enjoyed diving into the history of legendary vehicles, be sure to like this video and share your experiences or thoughts about Scania trucks in the comments. The era of the second series is past. In Sweden, it was taken off the assembly line in 1988, and in South America in 1992. But these vehicles continued to rule the roads for a long time after that. And even today, in the age of all-pervasive plastic and complex software, you can still spot them on the roads, carefully restored by the hands of those who truly understand what real spiel is.